All right, Everything DB show. This is our first time taking questions. We took questions from Twitter, a couple from IG, and follow the show, Everything DB show. It'll be somewhere,
On the
Twitter,
screen
IG, it'll be
somewhere.
somewhere on the screen, but follow and ask some questions so we can answer them. We're going to answer a few today. I'll take the first one. First question came from Twitter. The ad name is Jake Cam 1010. He asks, "What's tougher for a DB coming into the league to deal with? Is it the speed of the NFL offenses, or is it the strength and physicality of the receivers?" Fortunately for DBs, you got to deal with both week in and week out. That's why you're in the big leagues. You're playing against the best of the best. The best football players in the world, and you are one of them. I used to have a coach that told us all the time the night before a game, "Hey man, you're world class. Everybody in here, you're world class. You wouldn't be in for a reason." So that's the mentality of every player out on the field, not only physically but mentally. So if I had to choose one, that's the difference between the good, the great, and the elite players is what goes on mentally and how fast you can process not only what you need to do on the field, but what the opponent is trying to do. You know how it is at DB when you're not confident or you're struggling or maybe you're injured or something, you just get locked in on one thing or one person or, what it is I need to be, oh, dang, I can't get beat. I got beat a couple times. In the NFL, it's next play. I mean, on any level, it's the next play mentality as a DB. Whatever happened in that previous play, forget about it, get to that next snap. And the mental part of it, you have to have what you're doing so under control. You have to know, your assignment, your alignment, your keys on every play. You have to know that. It has to be like a given. When you're out in that field and that offense breaks the huddle, you should only be diagnosing them and communicating what you already studied, what you already anticipating as a group to be coming. So that's the most difficult part to get under control, though. Knowing, okay, this guy motion, he shift. So now we're going from cover 3 to cover 2, or we're going from 2 to 4. So once you know that and you have a hold of that, you can go out there and play. You know what I mean? And the physicality of it, I mean, guys are more physically probably built up and strength-wise. They're stronger in college, I would say, for the most part, especially you come from a Power 5 conference. These guys are killing the weight. When you see the DK Metcalfs and the Saquon Barkleys and how these guys look at the combine. So it's less about physicality when you get to the NFL because, you got it's all grown men out there. Now it's about the mental gymnastics and how well can you handle that week in and week out, play in and play out. And that's the toughest part to get a hold of. And but the guys that do it, those are the guys that you see in the Pro Bowl every year. Those are the guys that you see getting the big bucks, and it's a lot that goes into it. But it's definitely, to answer your question, I hope I did. I wouldn't say you said the speed of the offenses, but it's more so just understanding and grasping, what's going on not only your side of the ball, what's going on the other side of the ball as well. So let's get to your question,
Okay,
Denzel.
I got a question from @KJC_ on Instagram. And his question was, playing in the slot, in phase or out of phase, when can you look back for the ball?
Playing in the slot.
So for me, playing in the slot, this is right down my wheelhouse. I would say you can never look back for the ball unless you're in phase. Unless you can physically make contact with the receiver, don't look back for the ball. So if I'm here, whether I'm below or if I'm on top in control, I can actually look back for the ball depending upon where my safety is, where my low hole is. It depends on what route was ran. But to make the question easy, I would never look back for the ball unless I'm in phase. And
So
when you
that's phase. That's, or I can reach out and touch him. I'm in
Yeah.
phase, right?
Now, if you're
Out of phase, you can't touch me, and I'm running away from you. You shouldn't be looking back the ball, especially if I'm still picking up speed. Or sometimes, if you're a 4-3 guy and the guy you're chasing is a 4-6 guy, you can take a little peek. You have that edge. That's the Deons and the
know
the
who
elite,
you are.
World class sprinters of the world. But if you're a guy, you have similar speed or have receivers faster than you, get in phase before you look for that ball.
And when you look for the ball, look up. Make
Look
sure
up.
you look up and see the trajectory of the ball before you look back. A lot of DBs look back like
That's a
they're gonna
habit.
watch the quarterback throw it. You're not gonna watch the quarterback throw it. At this point, the ball's already in the air.
Yep.
So you got to look up, try to make a play on the ball. or deciding to play through the hands.
I had a coach tell me in man coverage, if you see the quarterback throw the ball, you probably going to see the receiver catch it too. And Reggie Wayne told me, future Hall of Famer, DBs, their worst habit is looking back for the ball, not looking up. Find the trajectory. And you kind of hit on it earlier a little bit as far as playing the slot. Once again, this is kind of going back to knowing the game. You have to know where your safeties are as well, especially playing that slot. Know where your deep help is, or if you don't have deep help, because that'll dictate when you can or can't or should or shouldn't look for that ball. If I'm in a split safety look, cover two-man, something like that, and my slot receiver is going streaming, hauling ass up the middle of the field to split those safeties, I know I don't have deep help. So I can't look unless I'm in phase, like on him. Now, let's say you have a single high safety, which you just have a post safety, cover 3, cover 1, and I'm on him and I get a slot fade. Now I know I don't have any help outside, and the help that's in the middle of the field is not really helping me. So now it's still all on me. And being in phase, like you said, so if I'm on that slot fade, the ball is in there, we're running down the field. If he's going over the shoulder, I want to come and play through these hands. Once that ball hit, I got to play. Boom. The great receivers use really late hands. You saw Devontae Adams do that against Slay this week. He stacked them and gave him really late hands. So when you put those hands out as a DB and you're in this position, go play through those hands. Don't look back for the ball. Now if you're in this same thing, the ball's back there. We're running down the field. Now he looks back. Now if it's back shoulder and I turn here because I'm not reading him, I'm getting swam by. He's going back and he's catching that ball every time. But if I'm here and I see him turn back, I turn back into him. A man turn, put your hands up to go catch the ball, and I'm here. Or I've seen players like Gerard Powers. I remember him picking off one of Aaron Rodgers. You look back, play through it, play the ball, or play through his hands again, play right through it. So just knowing where you are, knowing the space, having some spatial awareness, that's super, super, super important as a slot defender. And knowing how and when, to look back. And you rep it. I'm sure you guys did drills.
We had drills in college where we would rep over the shoulder, back shoulder, or jump ball drills. We'll do it for 5 minutes in every practice. So just making sure you see it every time is very important, because a lot of people take it for granted. You just think you're going to get there, but in reality, you panic when the ball's in the air. So if you rep it, you won't panic. You'll make the right play.
Don't panic. Got one more question from that was from IG or?
Yeah, that was from IG.
Okay, so I'll take one more from IG. Like I said, remember, hit the show up. It's right here. It's gonna be right here. I know, man. Max got me. Hit the show up. Submit some more questions, man. So these are good. I got one more question from my man Sheets 24K. Corey Sheets, he actually played in the league for a while in Canada. But he asked a question, from a DB standpoint. What do you like better, cover 2 or cover 3? What are the pros and cons in the coverages? So I'll kind of try to answer it quick. Cover 2 is more of a pass defense. It's more of you're playing against guys who they want to get the ball down the field. You want to keep 2 safeties deep and try to protect yourself. The corners are playing a flat. They play things high to low. The safeties are playing everything, keeping it in front of them, right? You're splitting the field in half, basically, and you keep covering the deep halves. That's tough on the safeties, right? That's the easier down for the corners. The corners' most important responsibility, including nickel, is to reroute and help the safeties, make it easier, funnel them either outside or inside, depending on splits, and help make that safety's job easier. But it's weaker in the run game, because now you only have 7 guys in the run game, dedicated to stopping the run, and you have that nickel who's kind of a half pass, half run defender. Now, if you got an ass kicker at nickel, like a Kenny Moore who can insert himself in the run game, that helps you out tremendously to play cover 2. So it can help you out on both ends of it. Cover 3, that's a run call. That's the call. That's the call you're making to stop the run. You're dedicating 8 men in the box to stop the run game, or limit the run game and take up all the run gaps. And you got 1 deep safety in the middle of the field, 2 corners on the outside third. But in the NFL, you're basically playing man-to-man out there. So quarterbacks know that as well. They see the single high safety. Now they know that corner can't come off of that guy if number 2 runs a route. That corner basically has to be the deep third. He has to be either a man coverage or deep third when that quarterback sees the middle of the field. So he already knows. So cover 3 is more of a run call, and as a safety, I prefer cover 3 because it's easier to play a middle third than it is an entire half of the field. As a corner, it's more man. I was a man-to-man guy, so I would prefer that as well. But it depends on what you like. As a coach, if you're planning on trying to limit the passing game, you see a lot of cover 2 in like 2-minute drills and things like that, where you're trying to keep things in front of you. When you get tight to the red zone, you'll play a cover 2 and drop extra couple guys into coverage to try to take up more windows. Cover 3, like I said, when you got good guys, good matchups, you feel as a defense on the outside, and you have a guy that you have to put extra guys in the box, like a Dalvin Cook or a Ezekiel Elliott or somebody like that, where you have to stop the run game. Cover 3 is better. So those are kind of some of the pros and cons and kind of the overall, thought process of coordinators when they're calling cover 2 versus cover 3. Mm-hmm. So that's good. It's our first time answering these questions. We had some other ones, but we'll pick probably 3 or 4 every week. Mm-hmm. And so keep them coming. I think those were all some pretty good ones. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can learn from them. There's things in past episodes that kind of hits on some of these things. Or you can go down and account. I know I definitely broke down an entire clip of Colts running cover 2. They ran it more than anybody in the league. So check it out, man.
Yep.